Hi, welcome. If your team manages work in Asana and tracks issues in Jira, this is the video for you. What I'm going to show you is a live sync between Jira issues and Asana tasks. Status, comments, attachments, and fields flow in both ways. If you want to start a 30-day trial, you can just click here, start it for free, and then follow along after. Let's get into it. After installing, go to the apps in Jira, find the Jira Asana integration by Getint, and open it. You will land on a page exactly like this, where you can select Create Integration, Continue Sync, and then connect the app. Let's start with Jira. In here, you'll select Create Connection, and then you will pass the URL for the instance that you will be using. I will be using this one. Now, in Jira, let's go to the security part, create and manage API tokens, create API token, give it a name, and then select an expiration date. Create. Now let's copy this API token that will work as a password for your integration. Here we'll select next, give the same email address that you are using for that instance in past. Now we click add. Let's find the connection that we have just created. Now the project. Connect. Now that my Jira is connected, let's move on to Asana. Select Connect App, go to Asana, create a new connection. Now we give a new name to our connection. Then we'll go to Asana, where we'll select our profile here, and then select Settings. In here you go to Apps, scroll down to Build New Apps. In here you will scroll down again and then create a new token. Give your token a name and create token. Now we copy this token and go back to Getint, paste the token and add. Let's find the token. We'll select the workspace and the project that we'll be using. Connect. Now I have both sides connected. We'll start mapping the types. One important thing before we move on is that if you have any custom fields in Asana that you want to include in your integration, make sure that they are already added to your Asana board. They will not show up for mapping if they are not configured beforehand. Full token setup steps are in our documentation. Now that both sides are connected, let's start with the mappings. In here, I can map the types manually, so I can select from the list here on the Jira side and connect them with Asana, or I can use a quick build where the tool will try and match work items with their fields for minimum working integration. Let's go with this option and then select build. It takes just a few seconds and now we have some mappings done. We will have task to task, subtask to subtask, and some fields in there. Let's apply, and here you can also modify by clicking in the work item itself. Now I can add more field mappings. I can play with the directions, so sending everything over to just one side or the other side. Keep them both ways as I prefer for this demo, and also changing how you want them to work. So if I don't want them to be part of on creation, I can just delete that, or on update, making them work just in one side. Let's make it both ways like this. And for fields like assignee or reporter, where you have different people on both sides, the tool will try its best to map everyone, but you can also enter there and manually match them. So if I have more people that are not included in here, I can go ahead and add them. For this demo, let's leave as it is and move on to status. Now in here, for Asana, by default, we'll capture section, which you can also leave as it is, but I will select the status for this case. Now for status, I will select the to do with to do, done with done, and now in review with stuck. As you can see, I have one additional status on the Jira side that I don't have anything to match with on the Asana side. This is not a problem for Getint, where you can select in progress and then select one option where it can also be part of that one. So I can add under in review, and now both options, both status will flow as a stuck to Asana side. Similar to the fields, you here have also the option to choose the direction, either bidirectional or just selecting the side that you want the data to flow to. Let's move on to comments and attachments now. And in here, again, you have the option to do it both ways, just one way. And you can also filter by some attributes that we have here. So you can allow or exclude some comments based on author name, the content itself, or when it was created. You have also some options here that will allow you to sync the original item ID, the comments, and how you want the comments to show on the other side. For the purpose of this demo, I want to make everything simpler, so I will leave just as default, but you can test it later and see how it works for your team. We also have the attachments option, which I will leave enabled so we can test that. Now that I'm happy with this setup, I will select apply. And then since I said I want everything to be more simple for this demonstration, I will remove the subtasks, but you can add more type mappings or remove the ones that you don't want to include in here. So let's just remove this one. Now we can save our integration. But before I save, I want to show you that you can also control your data based on some options for filtering. In here, you can click on our filtering options. You will have all items filters, new items filters, and synced items filters. From this, you can choose, let's say, a label that you have set up for the synchronization. Once you choose the labels and you put contains and you add the value sync, which has to be exactly the same that you have for your labels, and add this, only the work items that have this filter, have this label, will then be part of the synchronization. This can be done for both sides, so you also have the option in Asana, but Jira also has the option to filter using a jQuery. Again, our documentation can explain how to use the filters and how to use the jQuery options. For this demo, I would not include the filters, but you can play around with it. Let's now create. Now that we have created, let's go to our latest runs and see what happened. In here, you will see that we have the run ID, the integration name, the mode where it was running on, and how much time it took and when was the last run synchronized. We don't have any stats yet because we didn't change or created anything after the creation of this integration. For the on-premise where I'm running this integration, the runs happen every 60 seconds or every minute, but for Jira Cloud, you'll see runs every 180 seconds or 3 minutes. Now let's create something on our Jira side and see what happens. Now let's create a ticket, add a summary, we can also add a description and then assign to someone. I will assign to myself, and of course add some attachments. Let's add one attachment. Now we create a ticket. Now that created, let's go back to Getint and see what happened. Now we have a new run where you can still see the ID, the integration name, the mode, when was the last time that it happened. You can see the past runs as well with the incremental times. And then now we have the stats. Let's go to the details. And in here, you also have the ID, the item that triggered the synchronization, the item that it's synced with, and the mode. In this case, this is signalizing to us that this item was created in the synchronization. It took 25 seconds to synchronize, 6 seconds to synchronize, and was 25 seconds ago. If then we click on the item itself, we have a summary of everything that is part of this ticket synchronization, and the same on the other side. From here, we can then click on this URL that will take us to the item that was created on the synchronization. As you can see, we have the title, the assignee, the status, and then the attachment that was part of the sync. We can now modify this side and see what happens in Getint. Let's change the status and add a comment. Now let's go back to Getint and wait for the new run. There it is. As you can see, we have a new one. Let's click in here and see what it happened. So we have now the trigger coming from Asana and the item that was synced with. And now this time the mode is update instead of create. If we click on the item again, we can be taken to the Jira item so we can check the changes. You will see that the status changed and also a comment was added. As you can see, we have now a bidirectional sync, no manual work. That's the foundation. From here, you can go further. Add custom field mappings, change the comment direction, filters can be added on either side. This works across Jira Cloud, Data Center, and on-premise, so whatever your Jira setup is, you are covered. The core setup, a working bidirectional sync between Jira and Asana, takes just a few minutes. The complexity is totally optional. That's it. If this was useful, like the video, add any questions on our comments, or open a support ticket and ask for a demo. Our team will be super happy to assist you. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe, and thanks for watching. See you on the next one.